For thousands of years, cultures around the world have told stories about humanity's first ancestors. The most famous is the biblical story of Adam and Eve, a single man and woman from whom all people descended. But in modern times, scientists began using genetics to look backward into the deepest branches of the human family tree. In doing so, researchers discovered that every person alive today shares certain common ancestors. These ancestors became popularly known as mitochondrial Eve and Y-chromosomal Adam. The names are dramatic, but they are also misunderstood. Scientists did not discover the first woman and first man. They did not discover the only woman and man alive at their time. So who were they? And what can their DNA tell us about the story of humanity? As genealogists, we know that every generation backward doubles the number of our direct ancestors. 2 parents become 4 grandparents. 4 become 8 great-grandparents, and the number grows exponentially. Within just a few thousand years, we would theoretically have more ancestors than the total population that existed at the time. This phenomenon is called pedigree collapse, where the same individuals appear repeatedly in our family tree because populations intermarried over thousands of years. This means that all humans share countless ancestors. In fact, many scientists believe that the most recent common ancestor of everyone living today may have lived only a few thousand years ago, far more recent than mitochondrial Eve or Y-chromosomal Adam. These genetic ancestors are special for a very specific reason. They represent unbroken lines of inheritance. Inside nearly every cell of your body are tiny structures called mitochondria, the energy factories of the cell. Mitochondria contain their own small amount of DNA, known as mitochondrial DNA, or mtDNA. Unlike the DNA inside your chromosomes, mitochondrial DNA is inherited almost exclusively from your mother. Your mother received it from her mother. Your grandmother received it from her mother. That chain continues backward through an unbroken maternal line stretching through thousands of generations. This makes mitochondrial DNA an extraordinary tool for tracing deep maternal ancestry. Mitochondrial Eve was the most recent woman from whom all living humans inherited their mitochondrial DNA. She was not the first woman. She was not the only woman alive. In fact, she lived among thousands of other women. Those women also had descendants, but over thousands of generations their purely maternal lines eventually ended. Perhaps they had only sons. Perhaps their daughters had no children. Perhaps entire branches disappeared through migration, disease, famine, or conflict. Mitochondrial Eve's line alone survived continuously through daughters until the present day. Every person alive today carries a genetic link back to this ancient woman. The Y chromosome works in a similar way, but only in males. Fathers pass their Y chromosome to their sons. Those sons pass it to their sons, creating an unbroken paternal chain. Because the Y chromosome changes slowly through mutations over time, scientists can compare modern Y chromosomes and estimate how far back they share a common ancestor. This is the foundation of Y-DNA genealogy, surname studies, and the creation of paternal haplogroup trees. Y-chromosomal Adam is the most recent man from whom all living men inherited their Y chromosome. Like mitochondrial Eve, he was not the first man. He was one of many men living at the time. The reason his Y chromosome survives today is simple. His direct paternal line never ended. The paternal lines of all other men living at his time eventually disappeared. Some had daughters but no sons. Some family lines died out entirely. Over enough generations, this is an inevitable process. This is one of the biggest misconceptions. Mitochondrial Eve and Y-chromosomal Adam may not have lived at the same time. The estimates for their ages overlap, but they are based on different genetic lineages and have uncertainty ranges. They also were not the only humans alive. Human populations at that time consisted of thousands of individuals spread across Africa. The names Adam and Eve are simply metaphors used to describe the most recent common ancestors of these 2 specific genetic lines. One of the most powerful lessons from genetics is that humanity is deeply connected. The differences we see today, skin color, language, culture, and geography, are very recent developments in our species' long history. If we travel far enough back in time, every person's family tree begins to overlap. Genetics has revealed that the story of humanity is not a collection of separate histories, but a single interconnected journey. Modern humans originated in Africa and gradually migrated outward in multiple waves. As small groups moved into new environments, genetic mutations accumulated and populations developed distinct genetic signatures. These ancient migrations created the mitochondrial and Y-DNA haplogroups that genetic genealogists use today to trace deep ancestral origins. When you receive a haplogroup from a DNA test, you are seeing a tiny branch of a family tree that began hundreds of thousands of years ago. The field of ancient DNA has transformed our understanding of human history. Scientists have extracted DNA from ancient bones and discovered that modern humans interacted with and interbred with other human relatives such as Neanderthals and Denisovans. Many people alive today carry small percentages of Neanderthal DNA. Some populations, particularly in Oceania and parts of Asia, also carry significant Denisovan ancestry. This shows that human history was never a simple straight line. It was a complex web of migrations, encounters, and genetic exchanges. Every genealogist dreams of pushing their family tree one generation further. But DNA allows us to extend our story far beyond written records, beyond surnames, beyond civilizations, and into a time before history itself. Mitochondrial Eve and Y-Chromosomal Adam represent two tiny threads in an enormous tapestry of human ancestry. They remind us that every person alive today is connected through an ancient and shared human journey. Thank you for joining me as we explored one of the most fascinating discoveries in genetics, the realization that every person alive today carries echoes of ancestors who lived hundreds of thousands of years ago. Mitochondrial Eve and Y-Chromosomal Adam were not the first humans, and they were not a single couple alone in the world. Instead, they are symbols of the incredible journey written into our DNA. Every test we take, every haplogroup we discover, and every ancestor we uncover is a small piece of the greatest family tree ever known, the story of humanity itself. If you enjoyed this exploration into genetic genealogy, ancient DNA, and human origins, please like this video, subscribe to Ancestral Spotlight, and join me as we continue discovering the stories hidden in our DNA.